Working the second step in SAA. After admitting powerlessness and unmanageability in Step 1, we move on to Step 2. The best way to get started working Step 2 is to read about it in SAA's basic text, Sex Addicts Anonymous, or the Green Book. I can access this online by searching for SAA Green Book online. Insights and guidance on the second step starts on page 25. Step 2 reads, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I can think of Step 2 as having 3 core principles. First, that although I can't control my compulsive sexual acting out, I can have hope that recovery is possible. Second, letting go of self. If I will let go of my ego and allow myself to be guided by something greater than myself, I can start healing. And third, finding my inspiration. I don't have to be religious, my higher power can be anything that inspires me to stay sober. It is helpful to start with the last 4 words of this step. Restore us to sanity. These words imply that, in my addiction, I was insane. Do I believe this is true? In recovery, there is a common definition for insanity, repeating the same actions over and over, while expecting different results each time. Given this definition, and my addiction story that I shared in Step 1, I was definitely insane. The purpose of Step 2 is for me to develop the self-awareness and understanding that I cannot recover on my own. The truth is, I need help to achieve sobriety, and Step 2 helps me internalize some spiritual principles that are important to my recovery process. Being humble. Being open and willing to ask for help. Receiving help graciously when given. Forgiving myself and others. Having faith in my higher power. And trusting that I am not alone in this journey. Let's talk about higher power. As with other 12-step programs, SAA is a spiritual and not a religious program. It does not require that I blindly accept some organized religion or that I accept someone else's concept of God. Only that I trust that there is some power, greater than myself, however I wish to describe it or understand it. For example, I can choose to believe that my higher power is the God of my own religious faith, or the 12-step fellowship itself, or my family, nature, music, or something else. I also need to recognize that my own religious prejudice can get in the way of my progress. Despite what I may or may not believe, the 12 steps ask me to set aside any prejudice I have and simply give the program a chance. Next, it is time to personally work Step 2. To do this, I write responses to the following 6 prompts. To work this step for yourself, hit pause as we progress or use the online worksheet described at the end of this video. First, I describe the spirituality in my childhood home, its impact on me, and my feelings about it. Was I raised in a family that was not religious? Or maybe in a strict family that went to religious services often? Did that lift me up, or make me feel bad about myself? Do I remember that time fondly, or with anger, or maybe not at all? Next, what role, if any, does spirituality currently play in my life? And can I describe my higher power? Is my higher power a judging all-powerful being? An easygoing grandfather type? Do I have any feelings of anger at a higher power? Maybe a loved one passed from an illness, and I'm angry that their higher power didn't help. Have there been times that I made a deal with a higher power in moments of distress? And how did things turn out? Did I follow through on my deal? And finally, has someone abused their authority over me either when I was younger or recently? And, if so, how has that impacted my view of a loving higher power? The core message of Step 2 is that I cannot recover on my own. I need help. SAA, as with other 12-step programs, is a spiritual, and not a religious program. The key to success in Step 2 is willingness. I must be willing to crack the door of belief open just a little. And finally, there is great value in talking to my sponsor and others about their spiritual journey working the steps. As I do this, I will find very religious people, agnostics, atheists, and everything in between, and all of them have successfully worked Step 2 with willingness and have a strong recovery program. You can recover too with your own personal spirituality. And remember that it works if you work it because you're worth it.